Hey everybody, this is me, the Undead Viking, and this is Guardians of Wayword. Now, Guardians of Wayword is a cooperative game, a cooperative dice bag building game. If you are unfamiliar with that terminology, I am gonna kind of reference something from the past, the way back machine. Way back in the day, I remember when when board gaming wasn't as huge as it is now. Origins, where now it's kind of coming back and it's becoming more and more prevalent in the as far as the gaming conventions go. But back in the day, it was kind of a ghost town of a convention. And I remember I didn't go, but I remember I had a few people that I did know that went, and they were like, yeah, there was nothing going on except this game called Quarriors got released, and it was really awesome. And I was like, huh, tell me about this Quarriors. And they're like, well, it's kind of like if you had Dominion but you had dice. And I was like, I like that idea. I need to play this. And so Quarriors, I remember I picked it up, and I have all the expansions and everything. I think they've given up on the game. I don't think anything new has come up for it in a long time. I might be wrong. I'm not always up to date on this stuff. But that's a game that I have. I love it. I don't think I'm ever getting rid of it. It's just a game that I really, really enjoy. I just enjoy the aspect of collecting dice and being able to roll them and have different powers and abilities and whatever. So, Guardians of Wayward kind of takes that bag building aspect, and then for that matter, it also reminds me a little bit of Hero Dice, if you're familiar with that as well. So, but anyway, so it takes that aspect, but it applies it to a cooperative aspect where a fantasy world where your hometown, this town of Wayward, is being attacked, and you are in charge of one of the guilds of this town. And it is up to you and everybody else to fight off these evil monsters and also this big bad evil guy. And if you are able to do so, then you will pull off the win and you will save the world. Let me show you the game it's played. It's pretty simple. If you're familiar with other dice bag building games, this probably will be something that you'll understand and follow pretty well. But it isn't a very tough game to play, but it is a tough game to win. But I'll talk about that in my final thoughts. Here we go. Okay, so this is Guardians of Wayward. I have set the game up to be played solo, though you can play with up to 5 people. The gameplay is functionally pretty much the same. The only difference is, in a solo game, obviously, you're just the only one taking the turns. Otherwise, you will just take turns one by one as you go around the table. And you can play this what's known as semi-cooperatively or totally cooperatively. Once again, functionally, the gameplay is exactly the same. Just with semi-cooperatively, you'll earn a few points depending upon who does the best job at defeating the bad people, and then they can win, quote-unquote, the game. That's up to you whether you want to play like that, but, just your mileage may vary as far as that's concerned. This is a prototype that I was sent, so just keep that in mind as I show you how to play. For example, the game board here will be a much larger thing. You might notice I'm going to run out of space as I'm showing you different things and everything. Just keep that in mind, and, go ahead and check out the game on the Kickstarter page. You can kind of see everything in a larger detail, if you will. If you've played games, dice bag building games, things like that, as I said, Quarriors was a game that this reminded me of a great deal. What you have is you have your main bag, you have your guild board, which is this. The guild board has the loadout, which are the 6 cards that you are able to access. You access these cards by actually claiming these dice and put them into your guild bag. You'll be drawing dice out of this bag, and then you'll be able to roll them, and those results will give you certain powers. The powers will allow you to recruit more dice that you'll be able to put in this bag. They'll be able to enact certain powers and abilities. Mostly, what you're going to be using is buying new cards, getting better cards, and then as events occur, monsters and bad guys are going to appear on this road, and as that happens, then certain bad things are going to happen. Wayward, the city's health, which is located right here, and the city has more health with more players, because you're going to be having your threat deck, which is this deck right here, will populate with more and more bad things that happen. Now, to begin each game, you have to pick this loadout, which I've just, picked. This is one of the standard loadouts that you can begin the game with. There are 3 different artifacts. There's like this tracker cloak, the truth seeker bow, and the healing word. Those are like different like spells. Like this is a scroll, that's a bow, pretty normal. And then there are these 3 champions, and these champions just have different powers and abilities, and I'll explain those here in just a little bit. Everybody starts with this basic, which is this guild square, and you're going to start with 10 dice to represent the guild square in your bag. Also, to build out the game, 1 for each guild that is involved. Since I'm playing the game solo, I only have 1 guild, which is right here. You're going to put a guild card down, and there's 5 spots for them. Normally, like this would be a larger board, but you can probably see what I'm saying here. And then you'll have these 5 dice, and those dice can be claimed by anybody. You yourself aren't like, because it's your guild, only you can get that. If you're playing with multiple people can take these dice as well. Also, before the game begins, is that you have to pick either like your big bad, which is your boss monster character, and also like the nasty event that's going to be affecting the game. And so in this case, we have here Stroke, which is the vampire lady here, and there's some powers and abilities there. And also we have the event, which is the Long Night. And the Long Night, as you can see, has some powers where like Wayword is going to be losing health, and the guilds will lose their health as more and more event cards are drawn. And these event cards are placed into the threat deck. You might see where here it's like, it says like appearance on there for her. What that means is that there are big, bad threat cards that are in that deck, and when that happens, you have to, it says here, like KO one of their loadout dice in their pool. If they cannot, they lose 1 heart. KO dice, it takes a die and places it into this spot and makes it unavailable to you until you can hopefully claim it later on. So you get to pick those 2, and these are like, you get tons of these. I should mention, you get tons of all of these cards, and that like different powers, different abilities, different events, different big bads. Like here's that's a square card, I apologize, but like here is the Rotter, which is like this walking pestilent zombie guy. And so then and there's other things in here, like let me just drag them in. Like here is good old Dr. Acula at your service here. So you have definitely lots of different things. That's one of the things I really like about this game and games like this, is that you can kind of just tailor the game and how you want to play. Do I want to fight zombies today? Do I want to fight vampires today? You can just get an experience that you want, and you can definitely interchange all of these cards depending upon what you will. Now, depending upon the number of players and also the threat that you picked, you're going to populate your threat deck with a certain number of cards. There is this second deck of cards. This is the deck of villagers. Villagers are from the Wayword, the village of Wayward, and those will be placed into these locations here, and they will be placed there through different game mechanisms. The big thing is that when they get placed here, their threats, they start here and move their way out. Threats start here and move their way in. When a threat is above a villager, they're considered to be captured, but if you manage to kill the threat that's on top of there, then you will, you'll be able to capture and save that particular villager, and you'll gain the bonus that they have. Alright, so I kind of been all over the place as far as the explanation, but the way the game works is really simple. You will take your bag, and you will draw five dice out of it. Now, at the beginning, you're just going to have these square dice. And you're going to roll these, and everybody does this at the beginning of the game, and you get 1 reroll. You always get 1 reroll. You can reroll as many of your dice as you wish of the 5 that you just rolled. Now, I'm not going to reroll. I'm just going to keep the ones I have just so we can play with them as we got. But you can... just remember that you can always get 1 reroll. Now, some abilities, like some characters, will allow you to... or like magical items will allow you to do more rerolls. Some will allow you to draw more dice out of your bag to roll, all kinds of things like that. But the big thing is just remember that you do get 1 mulligan, 1 reroll all the time. Then, as you have this, the first thing you're going to do on any one given turn is you're going to take and you're going to draw the top card off the threat deck, and you're going to reveal it. And so in this case, it is like just an event card. And so you're going to place that, and if you notice, remember when I showed you this event, this said, when you reveal an event card, each guild, the first 2 events that you reveal, each guild loses 1 heart. So each guild has health down here. So in this case, I'm going to lose that heart. Don't get rid of it because there are certain things that can happen that you can heal that back up. And as you probably guessed it, if a guild runs out of hearts, they're destroyed, and then the game is over. You've lost the game. Same thing goes for if Wayward, the village here, loses all of their health, then they will also, like, the game will be over because you destroy it. Now, because we're totaling up the events, I'm just going to leave that event card up there by my long night here event, because of the fact that I want to make sure that we, keep track of that and keep track of the fact that we want to, like, as they goes. Because if we ever get, if you notice, if we ever get all 7 on there, the game's just over. So that's another way that the game can end. All right. So now, I'm just, for the sake of an argument, well, now what would normally happen is I would spend dice and I would, decide what I want to do. There's nothing really to fight out here, so I'm just going to kind of cheat here and kind of go through some more events and just kind of move the story forward, if you will. So here we have, here's this zombie, and, so you can see here, and it has this cool little art. And so it says here on the zombie appearance, each guild discards a defense die or loses 1 heart. And if it's when it's defeated, it has the same effect. So what we have is, first thing is going to do is we're going to have to do the appearance effect when it happens. So we're going to lose 1 heart unless we have a defense die. Well, thankfully we do. We have this defense die, but we have to discard it. And so if we were waiting for our turn, remember there's multiple players and each person's drawing an event each turn. So you might be waiting for your turn to show up, and all of a sudden you don't get, you're going to be losing dice because of events other characters draw. That's one of the reasons why with more players you get more health for your city, because of the fact that it will be more difficult in some situations. So he will stay there, but as soon as other creatures get drawn, he will be pushed further and further. Once he gets to the city gate, he will then lay siege to the city, and then he'll be able to do damage to the hearts that are in the city. All right, let's once again cheat. Let's just draw a few of these and see what we get here. Because I'm not going to go through a complete turn. I just want to show you how this works. All right, so here we have, a villager. This is a maiden. And you notice that if you save her, she allows you to heal a heart, whether it is to a guild or Wayward, it's your choice. So she will go down here like so. And as more villagers appear, they will be pushed forward. And villagers appear because they're in the threat deck, but also certain effects will just cause them to happen as well. Here is another card, another threat. So here we have the Baroness of a pretty nasty vampire, if you will. And it says here, each player discards three dice from their bag. If there isn't a champion, they lose 2 hearts. This is a pretty bad thing right away because champions are right here and here and here, and I haven't really gone forward to purchase anything. So that would cause me to discard 3 out of my bag. And discard. Anytime you discard, they go up here into the used dice, so you do get them back. But if you have good dice in there and you're expecting to be able to use them soon, you're going to be able to. You have to skip it. And then there are certain things that just say this, like the big bad appears. And when you have a big bad appears, then you enact the appearance effect. So, and depending upon the big bad, there's lots of different things. But here you have guilds must KO one of their loadout dice from their pool. If they can't, they lose 1 heart. And then remember, I showed that to you earlier. And these are your loadout dice right here, what you have. So those are the different effects that you can get from the threat deck. And you do build that according to the scenario that you've created before the game. All right, so how do you use these dice? I'm going to take back my die here and put it here. So how do you use these dice? Well, you can use them, and you can use them for whatever you want. I mean, you can kind of, depending upon what you rolled, you can make an attack against a creature that you're dealing with out here. You can also use some to buy, and so on and so forth. The big thing is you're going to be using them as resources to purchase dice. And so each one of these resources, this is an attack, I will set that aside for a moment, but each one of these resources can be used to purchase something, and they're all equal to 1 resource. However, depending upon the facing of the die, you're limited a bit into what you want to purchase. So in this case, I have 2 shields, I have a sword, and I have this talisman, kind of coin look to it. So in order for me to purchase something, I have to have at least one of the images that's on here. So let's look at this card here, and it says Ella Corona right there. And you notice up there in the corner, she has the same symbol as one of these dice that I rolled. So what I could do here is it costs me 2, so if I went and I said I'm going to spend these 2, I can purchase one of those dice, because she has some special abilities, and I'll show you these cards here in just a little bit, and then I'd be able to put that into my used dice along with these 2, and that would show that I purchased it. Now, the unfortunate thing is that I do have like a sword and a shield, and there are people out here that have swords and shields, or like this artifact here, or this bow here, or like Abe Van Helsing, but the unfortunate thing is I don't have enough, resources to purchase those. So it might have been more wise for me probably to do my reroll. I got 2 more of those. So, but anyway, I wouldn't be able to do it. Or maybe I should have rerolled this guy and gotten more resources so I could have. But regardless, that's not what I did. So also, you can use your attack to go ahead and attack the things that are out there. So each one of these creatures will have, like you notice there's a 4 up there. Like a 4 power, or 4 like strength or power in fighting. So what you have to do is you have to have that amount like to defeat it. So in this case, we have the Guild Squire. You notice those 2 at the end there. They both have a 1 and a 1. There's the number, the 0 on over there in the top left. That's just the level of the die. And so like you have a 0 and then you have a 1. But the one in the top right is the attack power. But you'll notice that the in the bottom left of the one on the very end there's that asterisk. And the asterisk says it gets +1 attack if that's the case. So let's just cheat a little bit and show you how that would work. So here's an asterisk. So that is 1 plus 1 is 2, and then that is 3, and that is 4. So we have those 4, and we have this that has the strength of 4. We could go ahead and defeat them. And if there happened to be, like say this, we would defeat it, we would destroy it, we'd place that next to us so show that we've done it. And then we'd get this. So when rescued, she'd allow us to heal 1 heart, and that's that ability like so. That, in a nutshell, is the game. Now, I did want to show you like some of the different powers and abilities. So, because there are like clever little like synergies that are going on. So, and then there's a reference here in like the Abe Van Helsing. So, when you have a Abe Van Helsing, you notice that it says he has an effect on your Squire dice. So they gain a +1 attack and also a second chance, meaning that you are able to re-roll your Squire dice again. That's his special power. He also, it says threats in Darkmarsh have -1 toughness. And Darkmarsh is one of the spots here, and Darkmarsh is right here. So if you have that and you fight, like if we had that when the zombie was there, I would have only needed 3. And if you can notice over, like if you look at how powerful, like he has a die that if you roll it, lucky enough to roll that side, he has a 6 attack power, which of course is awesome. And let me just we'll grab the Truth Seeker bow so you can see an artifact. So you can see it's like this, you gain an extra reroll for having the bow, you gain an extra reroll, and also you gain a bonus when you are in Deepwood, which is right there. And so, like I said, there are these, and like obviously when you purchase these dice, there are some that are going to have like double resources on certain sides, so you'll be able to purchase more stuff. They're going to have better attack powers as you climb up the ladder, if you will, of those dice. So, that, as I said just a little bit ago, in a nutshell, is how you play the game. Each person just takes a turn, and it is a very difficult game, I have to admit, because it combines not only like this kind of always climbing dread that you're dealing with as far as with the monsters and the big bad and everything else, but also you are like, this isn't one of those things where it's like, oh, you discard a certain number of cards and you defeat that, or it isn't deterministic, right? You are at the whim of the chaos of the dice, something that I really, really like. I like dicing games, and I like because of 2 things. One, I never like a sure thing. If I just know I'm going to win. I mean, yeah, you can say, 99% chance I'm going to win, but there's that one little chance I'm going to lose. I do like that, because when that happens, that's epic. And the same thing is absolutely in the reverse, where it's like, there's no chance, I've got to get the most perfect roll possible. But you know what? As long as I have these dice, I feel like I got a shot to win. But I really, really love this. It was a combination, like I said, of a game that I love called Warriors, and has like a cooperative game, something that I can enjoy playing with my friends and my family. But let me talk about that and a whole lot more in my final thoughts. Alright, so there you go. That is how you play Guardians of Wayward. I hope you were able to follow that. Like I said, it isn't a super difficult game to play, but like I said, it is a difficult game to win. As you know, I have a kind of a thing when it comes to my cooperative games. I want them to kick my butt, and I want to earn that win. I want to earn my ability to be happy for myself. I don't want the game to play it easy on me. And I'm thankful to say that I think you should win about maybe 1 out of every 4 times that you play it. And this one, it was beating me on a regular basis. So that's something I really, really enjoy about my cooperative experience. Now, there are rules that you can make it difficult, more difficult, or less difficult, depending upon what you are in the flavor for. So if you are not in favor of like having a game that is tough to win, you definitely can like slow the game down a little bit and make the game more the challenge to be at a lower level. But that's as maybe. I mean, it's a game that I knew I was gonna like, just because I like the theme. I liked the mechanisms. I liked the way that it was. I did forget one thing when I was showing you how to play it. I apologize for that. How do you win? Well, you win by defeating the big bad, and the big bad actually has a like toughness level as well in comparison, like just like the other threats. And they also have like 5 hearts, and so each time you're able to like put together enough power to attack the big bad and take them down, then you're able to remove one of those hearts. But remember, you got to do it over and over and over again, and time is not on your side. You know, it's one of those things where it's like there's always something happening. There's always somebody's guild that's dying. There's always like Wayword is under siege. You know, so it's you're like, oh, I really want to attack the big bad and do damage to them, but there's all these other things I have to take care of before I do that, so I can hopefully possibly survive another turn, so I can possibly attack them again. So there's this weird like seesaw balancing act thing going on that you just really have to hit almost perfectly in order to pull off the victory. So that is how you win the game. I apologize for not showing that, but in explaining how you win the game, that kind of also just ties into the fact of what I really, really like about the game. It is difficult, it is fun, it is one of those interactive experiences between you and everybody at the table, and plus, it's just fun playing it solo. I played this game several times solo, just like, okay, let's fight this big bad. Let's fight this big bad with these minions. Let's use this loadout with this big bad. It's those sorts of things. Just changing it up, altering it up, making each like game experience like fresh and new and exciting. So there you go. If you like cooperative games, if you like dice, I think this is a game you're absolutely going to want to pick up, and I think you're going to love it. And even if you're on the hedge, if you're looking for a really, really fun, interactive, cooperative game for you and your friends and family, I think you look no further. You're going to enjoy this one. So if you have any questions about Guardians of Wayward, please, by all means, ask away. I'll be happy to answer those as best as I can. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate that. And, as always, you be the best version of you that you possibly can be. Put a smile on your face and be the kind of person that people want to hang out with. I guarantee you, the more happiness and love you give out to the world, the more happiness and love that you will get back. Until next time, I am the Edited Viking telling you, be awesome.